Thank you.
Thank you. I call Timothy Gasson.
Thank you, Principal Deputy Speaker, and I rise to oppose the motion and indeed the amendments before this House this afternoon, because behind the soft-sounding words of inclusion and affirmation lies a hard reality: the erosion of women's rights, the undermining of parental authority, and the silencing of common sense. No man, regardless of how he identifies, has the right to enter female-only spaces. Whether it's in a changing room, a prison, or a domestic violence shelter, women and girls have a human right to privacy, safety, and dignity. To deny that right is not progressive. It is regressive, it is dangerous, and it is wrong. In Scotland, a rapist was housed in a women's prison. That is where this ideology leads. No man has a right to take part in a women's sport. Not now, not ever. It is not banning anyone to ask them to compete in their own category. It is fairness, it is science, and it is a basic equality for women. Shaming the BBC for suggesting otherwise, for claiming that transgender people are banned from football and cricket, when in fact they are simply being asked to play in the correct category. I won't stop at just opposing the motion. I also oppose the DUP amendment. Personally, I believe the Alliance motion is unamendable. In order to leave it so that someone with my political and religious convictions can support in any shape or form. The amended motion says this Assembly recognises International Day against homophobia, biophobia and transphobia. I looked at the official website for that movement, may17.org. It contains a trans right map which tells me that the UK hasn't yet lived up to the goals of the campaign because it hasn't banned conversion therapy. Are the DUP happy to support a campaign calling for preaching on Corinthians 6 to be banned? Furthermore, on the basis of available evidence today, the Department of Communities cannot be trusted to produce gender and sexual orientation strategies. Today, the information on the Minister's departmental website says, in October 2020, an expert advisory panel was established with knowledge and expertise of the LGBTQ+ sector, which allowed them to make effective recommendations on the themes and key actions the strategy should address. Who are the members? Transgender NI, the Rainbow Project, and Here NI. Here NI put their name to a document just last week attacking the Supreme Court ruling. We know what Transgender NI's position is, and indeed the Rainbow Project is having an event in this very building as we speak, calling for the ruling of our Supreme Court to be ignored. The report on the Department of Communities website today attacks the Supreme Court ruling in terms of its recommendations on single-sex spaces like toilets on page 48. It champions gender-affirming care on page 16. It affirms Education Authority's transgender guidance on page 37. Guidance which belatedly, 8 months after I raised the issue with the Education Minister, he seems now prepared to act on. I'm not saying for one moment that Minister Lyons is going to swallow all the ideology in the report that's produced. But in a situation where all I can go on in terms of what a sexual orientation strategy is likely to contain, I am unable to support the amendment. I wonder if the proposers of the amendment have read the Expert Advisories Panel report. This Assembly should be protecting women's rights, not rewriting them. It should be supporting parents, not sidelining them. It should be standing with the Supreme Court, not attacking them.